aka Geeks.
Hey everybody, welcome to this first of many review of the, let's just throw it out there, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. This is a spoiler review, so if you guys haven't seen the movie, go see the movie right now. Pause this. Don't go away. Just pause it and then come back when you're done.
Come back to it.
We are now a week into having this film out, and we've had enough time to digest what we thought of it. And so, introductions. I'm Sean. Up here we have Lynn.
That's me.
And Brenden.
Yep.
All right, guys. So let's start off with our overall opinions. Brenden, what do you think? What is your overall opinion of the film Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice?
Overall, I would say it was okay. It wasn't the best superhero film ever made. It certainly was far from the worst. I liked certain aspects, didn't like certain aspects. Once or twice, I was like, okay, let's get to the next part. Let's move along. I don't care about this. It wasn't until afterwards I started to nitpick a little bit, but still, it didn't change my overall. It was okay. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater on it.
All right, that sounds good. What about you, Lynn? In an overall perspective from you?
Overall perspective, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I went in there, with mind open, not expecting to hate it or what have you. I was letting all the critical nonsense stay outside and just went in there open mind. And to be quite honest, this is definitely a Batman movie. It's nothing else. But overall, we'll get into semantics later on. I did come away really, and I think it's the comic fan in me that was really picking out certain things and asking, why did you do this? What was that about? But overall, and Ben Affleck. That's all I gotta say for right now.
Yeah. I kind of feel...
Yeah. Overall, for a popcorn film, 'cause that's how I took
it.
I liked it. I liked it.
I kind of agree with you guys. I felt it was okay. It was good. I can't say solid because I definitely noticed a lot of inconsistencies and things that didn't grab my attention or just threw me off. But overall, it was not a failure in my eyes, not at all. So I still came out of it like, oh, that's cool, that's awesome. There's certain things that are awesome. There's certain things that are good. One of the things that I do want to say about the overall, it did make me say that I want to see it again, maybe, after I've let it digest and settle in. So if it did good enough to make me want to see it again in theaters, so I think that's a positive sign. And it also made me look forward to other movies in the DCEU. So that's a good thing that it did in that sense. So it made me feel that way. So I think overall it was good. It was okay. It wasn't spectacular. I've seen better, like you said. It wasn't the best, and it wasn't the worst, you guys. Let's get into some positives and negatives. And this is where we're going to really get down to the brass tacks and talk about some legitimate spoilers. So, Lynn, you have a list. Name off some of the things, some of the stuff that really caught your eye, positive, and then negative as well.
I'm trying to base this, right now I'm going to stick to the beginning parts of the film.
All right.
First of all, Bruce's origin. Tired of it. I think by now we've had a total of 7 movies with Batman in it, and each one has had one form, and I'm not even including the animated films. I'm talking about all the Joe Schumachers, which was 2, the Tim Burtons, which was 2, then 3 more, with
So we've seen 3. We've seen since the 89. We've seen 3.
We've seen many different origins, whether it's a flashback in a certain film, but each film has had a flashback to his parents' death in one form or another.
Yeah.
This one completely changed the origin, which didn't need to be done. Now, I don't know if this change was based off of the New 52, because, to be honest, the only thing I read off of New 52 was the Robin stuff, because it was Damian. But other than that, one thing I noticed was they changed the film to Excalibur from Zorro. Zorro is one of the key influences to the Batman character. Should never be changed. Should not be touched. I don't like the fact that Martha's killed, but his father isn't Thomas, and he dies later on, of course, during the whole battle with Zod. Both parents should be dead because you completely diminishes Bruce Wayne's reasoning for being Batman and fighting crime. Losing his parents at a young age to a criminal who he saw face to face, it gives him that motivation to stop villains anyway.
Okay, you said something right there that I think I missed. You said that Thomas didn't die at the beginning?
No, Thomas was who dies during the battle with Superman and Zod.
No.
His father.
Wait, well, who? The one he's calling? That was Carl.
That was his father.
No, it was Carl.
No, he says dad. Go back, and when you watch it again, you'll see.
I'll watch it again, because I didn't get that at all.
I thought it was Carl or John that he was calling in the phone in the corporate room.
That's the whole reason why he's upset, because that's the end of his family line.
We're gonna have to put a bookmark on that part because I'm under the impression that he died as well. So
we can talk about that part later.
But other than that, like I said.
Before you go on, did you notice that both of those actors, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohen, both Walking Dead actors?
Yeah.
Quick side note: did you see the Lego Batman trailer, the second one?
I haven't watched it.
On the origin stories, I freaking love that. That was
I'm trying to restrain from that to watch it when it comes out, but I heard about it and how they make fun of the origins.
So good.
Yeah.
The trailers don't take any away from the film, so it's not like you're gonna...
Okay. Yeah. No. I've heard of it. And
these were specifically made to be standalone little funny things to get you excited.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that one though. Back to your point again, Lynn.
Yeah, but like I said, the origin really, it wasn't necessary. Because, I could ask somebody in the street, a nobody who knows comics, and they'll know what's the cause for Batman to become Batman. What was the intention?
Yeah.
So it's been played out. Please, I hope that in Affleck's standalone film we don't go back to another origin. And I don't expect to, or even a flashback to this, because it's done with the origins. We know parents get killed, reason for being Batman. Enough said. So that's my only scruple. Is I do like the little touch of him falling into the cave, even though it was a dream. And the bats swirling around him to the point that they bring him out of the cave.
Yeah.
So that was a nice touch.
I actually didn't like that.
Why? Because you thought it was really happening?
No. There's a few things it just didn't agree with me, but I didn't like that part about the bats in the cave lifting him. I know it was a dream.
Well, no. My thing with that is that I took it as a little nod to certain things that they've done in the comic. And it also gives reason as to Bruce has always known the cave was there, as a young kid. So it shows basically all right, I've had this, and because he's traumatized from seeing the bats the first time. That's one thing that you never get across in any of the Bat films. It's never been portrayed, unless only one animated film, and that was the Year One picture. Bruce as a child was really traumatized from falling into the hole.
I thought the Keaton Batman did a pretty good job of making him feel scared of him. In Batman Begins, he embraced him and stood up in between them, and then I thought in Keaton.
No, but I'm talking about as far as he never really embraced the image of the Bat until, in the storyline Batman Year One. This is comics, but it also has its own animated film. When he's sitting and he first went out in his first crime-fighting foray and he got so bloodied and bleeding, he's sitting on the couch and he's talking to the head bust of his father, wondering how he could get the criminals to be scared. And that's where the Bat flies into the window, crashes through the window, and lands on top of the bust of his father. An idea runs, and that goes back to when he was young, and that's where he's fully embraces the Bat. In here, I took that as a little nod to that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
I
liked that it was there. But
I did like that it was there.
Too long. The flow. It was.
It could have been shorter.
I get it. It's lifted up. He's embracing.
I think they should have woken him up the moment the Bat started to swirl him, and that would have been fine. I didn't need to see him.
I didn't need the Jesus imagery.
Yeah, no, that I could have done without. That I agree with. But and then we, from there we cut to, Zod Superman battle.
Well, let's not go pick by pick. Let's go by some of your positives and negatives. What do you like about it? What did you dislike about what they did with the film?
Gotham and Metropolis. A harbor is the only thing that separates the two.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. But overall, special effects, nice. I loved the Batmobile. The Batmobile was incredible. It was well done, and that thing looked like it could take a pounding. Because it obviously did. And it still kept, even, after getting hit.
Ripped off.
It still drove away.
That part where the boat fell on him?
Yeah.
The Batmobile, and then he shoots out? Oh, man.
Yeah, and the other thing that I love is he's dragging the one car for a good stretch and slingshots it to hit so it crushes the other one.
All right, so
dude, that car is powerful.
I loved that. I loved that part, but right when it was happening, I was like, "Why the hell is he doing this? He knows he's gonna throw that car onto somebody." I was like, "Really? Come on, dude! How many times has he done that before?"
No, but I thought
he's been doing it for 20 years, so probably more than once.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Damn, he has a harpoon on the back to shoot things. Wow. I was like, I love it. But
I do appreciate that for the first time, Batman's not in his prime. He's not at the beginning of his crime fighting
prime to me, man.
No. He's aged. He's gruffed. He's
been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, he's got the grades.
Slow, Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred, phenomenal. I loved the casting for Alfred.
He's drinking and flying.
But at the same time, what I loved is that he was still getting in those digs at Bruce, which is something that's pivotal for Alfred, and wasn't really shown as much in previous incarnations. Just, Alfred always seemed loving, like in Tim Burton's run and even in Batman Begins. He's more like the surrogate father. You see that side of him. But this Alfred, you saw him being more, intellectual, because he actually helped him with some of the tech. On top of that, he also, says to Bruce Wayne, "There's really no purpose for you to be doing this. It'd be nice if you have children, even though that's not going to happen." He digs at him because, you should really think about settling down.
Yeah, I saw him as, he's it was, if you're going back to the old Batman, he was a combination of Alfred and Fox put together, where he was the confidant. He felt like a little bit of a conscience to Bruce, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? He had dual roles in it. And at first I was like, Jeremy Irons, he didn't seem that much older than Bruce.
Yeah, I thought the age thing was going to play off worse.
I think Jeremy Irons just ages well.
I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
The thing about Alfred, they described Alfred before the film was started, or when it was filming, that he is a veteran. He's been through he's had experiences, so he's not.
Well, that's because if you pay attention, they started doing that because of the changes they've done to Alfred in certain.
Well, what I'm getting at is that it was nice that they have that backstory with him. At least, for people that pay attention to that stuff, know. And so it's good to see him kind of involved with the whole thing. So he is his conscience, his confidant, his voice of reason, but also he's there. He's his backup as well.
Yeah, but that's something that he's always done, and that's what I liked, because this goes back to early days.
He's not helpless Michael Caine trying to roll him off of a roof after being burnt up by Scarecrow and pick him up, Yeah. He's over there drinking and flying.
Yeah.
Well, he had tactical awareness, too, because he was like, I'm going to drop you off the second floor. If he was just I'm going to drop you off wherever the plane is, and then I'm going to go wipe the china.
Yeah.
He
Michael
knew
Caine,
what was going on. He had the lingo. He'd been doing it with him for 20 years. So.
But what I like is anybody who watches Gotham, that's pretty much how Alfred is written.
Oh, is he really? I haven't watched
Gotham.
He's
badass.
Alfred in the TV show is a badass. And he's teaching Bruce how to fight. Now, mind you, original storyline for Bruce, he, at the age of 13, takes his parents' money and leaves the country and goes for different parts of the world to learn his fighting techniques. In the Gotham TV show, they've eliminated all that, and Alfred is the main instructor.
Oh, okay.
And he literally said, he's like, I'm not your dad. But
Yeah.
I sure as hell gonna freaking, treat you like he would have treated you. So
And in the Gotham show, Alfred knows a lot of secrets about the Waynes and the Wayne Foundation that he doesn't let Bruce come in on. And you start to see, and you saw a little bit of that when he's had one of his merc buddies appear in Gotham City, and you see the real badass that is Alfred. So I did appreciate that they kept that for this version of Alfred.
Alfred's a little more tough and ready to go, kind of.
Yeah, he's not just something that stands in the background. It's like, oh look, there's Alfred, and you forget.
Bringing you a Diet Coke.
Yeah. Or telling you that you should stick with this girl, that this is the one.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah, because that's all Alfred has ever done before.
Yeah, in the movies, yeah.
So it's nice that he's a little bit more fleshed
It's
out.
fresh, considering what we've been with for the last 7 Batman movies. That this is an entirely different Alfred.
Yeah. Story is a muddled mess, though, overall. It's like you start something, drop it off, come back and do something else, and drop it off, and you don't have anything being real cohesive. I mean, the only thing that I could say was cohesive was the fight scene, and and the whole reasoning for the fight to stop, completely stupid. Completely stupid.
I think we're gonna have different thoughts on that when we get to different people. So keep on going. More points.
Go. Okay. And first of all, kryptonite. Little too easy to find for people.
Kryptonite is made out of the dead bodies of the genetically engineered bodies, right?
No.
That's what I took from it. It was from the little pods, right?
No. Because you remember, kryptonite was first found in Saudi Arabia. That's why Lois Lane was there.
No, it was in the Indian Ocean.
Well, where do you think Saudi Arabia is?
Well, but it's in the ocean, I'm saying, though.
it was debris scattered.
Yeah, it was all the debris that was scattered. So, and the reason why she was, and the one guy that she was chasing down, that merc, that was working for Luthor, nothing came about of that. To be quite honest.
Side note, you notice that that guy has been in both Marvel and DC movies now. He was in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but he's just as important in either film.
Yeah, he's not.
He served no real purpose. You introduce this guy, and you show him in 1 or 2 scenes, and that's it. Then, well, we're done. That's all right. So I'm hoping in the unrated cut, we actually get to know what the full purpose. Yeah, granted, we know he worked for Luthor, and yes, it was part of the plan to, have Superman framed for whatever was going on in Saudi Arabia, because that's the full gist.
I think that's exactly what it was, and I think it was it took up screen time, a little too much screen time.
Yeah, but that's exactly I thought it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, it took up a lot of screen time just to set up this framing of Superman's bad. He goes to save somebody, and
I think that could have been done in talk.
Yeah.
Background talk when they first showed the committee. When they started to show the committee, that all could have been done, and because the committee all the scenes with the committee were done right. As to why their thing is. But we could have just had like a newspaper printing, say Superman blah 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 in Saudi Arabia, saves reporter, and that would have been fine. You didn't need to have that 10-15 minutes of Lois Lane doing really nothing.
Just to on that, I just thought of this, and this is just off right field, left field, whatever. Because those guys, we know they worked for Luthor after the fact and everything. What if Luthor sent them there to work with the warmonger dude?
But they were there.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they were sent there, but maybe he set it up to take Lois hostage to see if Lois and Superman is to put that final thread together. To maybe it was Lex trying to figure out who Superman was. That final thread he wanted, maybe something like that. But otherwise, though, I mean, we're reaching for a reason to keep that scene in.
Yeah, which didn't need to be it. It should be told. You could have been told that in the background, and then you switch to Batman fighting crimes, and he stops the child slavers. Mm-hmm. And even though they're grateful, and he's branding the said slavers. I'm sorry, since when does Batman brand people? Is he letting the commissioner go, hey, here's your pickup, here's my calling card? It's like that's not something in any of the Batman mythos. Why it was necessary for this? Were you trying to show that Batman's had it a little bit and he's becoming more of the violent side and crotchety? But Batman branding didn't serve a purpose.
I liked it.
But it didn't serve a purpose.
What I took it as, he says, every time I take them down, they come right back up, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing: if he catches one guy like half a dozen times, is he gonna brand him in six different spots?
But they said that basically that branding in prison was a death sentence, and they were going to kill you. So that's kind of, it felt to me like that was his way of, here's the guy. Here you go. I didn't kill him.
And odds are, he was doing that to the human trafficker. He did that to some other guy that did something really bad. And, like, they were showing that these guys were doing bad things. Not like a dude that stole a loaf of bread.
Yeah, but the point is, granted, crimes are, each crime was more severe than the other.
He's enforcing Sharia law in our legal system.
But... if anybody who's been in the prison system knows, that happens anyway. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you work for it. It's the system.
What I also think there's another reason to it. I'll get back to it when it come back around to me. But I think there might be a possible deeper meaning to it.
But at the same time, it still turned around and it was leading to the same terrorists who were working for Luthor again. And then, of course, he has no problem telling you switch to the committee, and Luthor says, hey, look, I got something that can stop Superman. We can make it a weapon. And the committee was like, oh, no problem. You had the one guy that says, yeah, we'll talk about it. But the head of the committee, she was like totally against it, because she just wanted him to be more in control of his surroundings. Say, hey, listen, you got all these powers. Can you chill? So I love Holly Hunter, first of all. I've always loved her character since. And
she works that white jumpsuit to the...
But the thing is, she's such a great character actor that it's not even funny. So, like I said, why does Lex, even though he's as smart as he is, his age differs so much from Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent? They should be closer in age.
Well, let's...
I thought the change in that was a little odd, considering that there's supposed to be there's supposed to be history between Lex and Clark during Smallville.
Again, that's based on the comics. This is its own thing. So
no, I'm talking about in general. That's been an overall feel to both characters. They've known each other since youth.
But this is a different.
We can go back to
this is a different telling. So,
but hello, this different telling. Superman Returns supposedly takes place after the Richard Donner films, after Superman, after the first film, the original Superman that Christopher Reeve was. Superman Returns takes place after that.
It takes place after number 2.
No, because number 2 brought Zod and the other two characters. But Superman Returns takes place after the first Superman film, the 78 film. So we already had Luthor introduced. So unless what I'm thinking is that they're going to tie some type of, because they mentioned the cloning thing, that he just cloned himself to be younger, because he's done that before in certain books, and keep it like that, and he's his own father, because he's done something along that lines. So whether that plays out, I don't know, but I thought the age discrepancy between the three characters was a little off for me. And for him to acknowledge all this information on both parties, because he knew who each person was without no real hard work to do it.
He's a better detective than Batman.
Which, are you kidding me? Look at all the work that Batman had to do to try to get Superman to do certain things.
Yeah. The other option is they're just playing their age, their natural age. Except for Affleck, who's been aged up in this one.
He's definitely aged up.
Henry Cavill is, 35, give or take, and Eisenberg is about 30 to 31, I think, right now. He's about my age.
Is he? Yeah, I would
He's
say
about my age,
close
and
to-
Cavill's about
close.
35. Affleck's, 40, but they're aging him up in this one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could just be, other than Ben Affleck, they could have just been using their natural ages, and that just played well into what their storyline was. But, I mean, I don't know. There's so many different possibilities for the reason with the age.
That didn't bother me, the age thing, in
Yeah.
terms of Lex Luthor. It was, when I first heard it, I was like, him, really? Because
Well, I don't mind that he was the actor as Luthor.
age-wise, I was like,
But age-wise, I took it
That's-
like, I don't see how these three gel.
But-
And when they kept showing the one scene when the three of them are meeting and Luther's saying Clark Kent meeting Bruce Wayne,
yeah.
whoever
They're
thought
like, yeah,
that,
we want, this is a meeting I wanted to happen. I was like,
yeah, because he already knew who they were.
I love bringing people together.
and I was like, if the whole, his plan, to me, didn't make any sense.
Nope.
Like, why
Not
is
at
he,
all.
then he helped Batman, he let Batman
And-
the kryptonite?
And not only that, why want Batman dead? We got no reasoning as to why he wanted Batman dead. Yeah, he wanted to push Superman to the limit.
I think
And
he
try to
might
get him
want
in this
Batman
spot.
dead to get Batman out of his business.
But the point is that was not.
No, I know
explained.
it wasn't. No, I'm
But-
just saying.
You know
Like,
what I mean?
you're asking the question. I'm saying that could be
My
why.
overall problem with it, I have a couple of questions to clarify before I make my statement.
Yeah.
Time between Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice.
18 months. It says at the beginning.
Yeah,
months.
it's like 18,
Okay,
it's a year and a half.
So, Superman just showed up in Man of Steel, right?
Well, he returned back.
Well,
No.
yeah, he came.
Well,
He came back.
Yeah, and then Batman's been around for 20 years. How the
Yeah.
fuck did he not hear
Did
about
they not-
Superman in all that time?
no. Superman first appeared in Man of Steel. This is
So
Like, he
we're
became-
disavowing
he
Superman
became
returning.
yeah. All
Superman
that stuff.
in-
All that other stuff is not connected to this. Superman,
No, it has to because he is Superman and Superman returns.
No.
Superman-
Are you talking about the Brandon Routh Superman Returns? None of that's
Yeah,
connected to this. None of that's connected to this.
That and Man of Steel are connected.
No, they aren't. No, Man of Steel was what initially started this whole new DCEU.
Yeah,
Um,
Man of Steel's a reboot.
Yeah, what was supposed to start the DCEU was supposed to be Green Lantern, but that didn't go over well. So, yeah.
Regardless of whether it's connected or not,
Previous
if we're
books,
going
yeah.
just talking Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice,
It was 18 months.
how did he not know about Superman? How is
That's right.
that fight, that Zod fight? How is that what? And they're across the harbor.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you not hear about Superman before that? If you're the greatest detective that ever lived, how the fuck do you not know that?
Well,
and if you're Lex Luthor, if Batman's such a fucking problem, how has he been doing whatever the fuck he's doing for 20 years,
20 years,
and
yeah.
you haven't done shit?
Well, he's too young. That's the whole point that bothers me. If Batman's been doing this for 20 years, that means there's some history between Luthor and Batman.
maybe
To the point that he wants him
Luthor Senior has more history with Batman.
But
And
This is what I'm
say
talking
that.
about. This is-
Say
Yeah,
that.
they don't say
no,
that. Yeah.
but my thing is, I think the whole dad thing is a ruse because of the whole cloning experiment
I
that
think you might be right.
Luthor
That would be cool.
shown,
That would be
and I think he made himself into a younger body,
And notice they don't
cool.
state,
which is something that they've done in the
and
comics.
they don't state whether or not his father is dead or alive or where he's at.
Exactly.
state-
They never make any reference to his
You
father.
know
Yeah, they just
what's
reference
awesome?
it. They don't
Besides
state where
what
he's
he
at.
says, he's the only one to bring up his father.
Brennan?
He is.
You know what would be
You just-
awesome? Because I know before it happened, because Eisenberg was supposed to be Jones. That's what or whatever, Batman's friend that got killed in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
The one that the reporter.
Yeah, that's
He's supposed to be
what-
Jim
John-
Jim
Jim Jones, John Jones.
Jimmy
No,
Jimmy-
not John Jones.
no.
He was supposed to be the reporter. What's his name?
Olsen.
Superman's photographer.
Yeah,
Olsen.
Olsen.
Jimmy
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 Olsen.
Olsen.
That's who he's supposed to
That's
be.
who he initially tried out for, because he
Yeah.
figured, hey, if I'm gonna have Eisenberg, I'm just gonna kill him off. And Cranston was in the running for Lex Luthor. How fucking
Yeah.
dope would it be if old
Cranston's
Luthor
still
comes
Luthor.
out and it's fucking Bryan Cranston, and he's like,
Possibility.
He's
I'm
in
gonna
hiding.
kill your ass. I'm the real Lex Luthor. Now, I will say, on the good part, I liked his performance as I like this kind of like manic, a little bit insane.
I took the manic thing as a ruse.
Even if it is, if it is, I like his portrayal. But
I thought how he was written was horrible, but I thought what he did, what was given to him, he was able to make. Even though he came off as because some people say he's bothersome, he's annoying, and he's a manic and what have you. I saw that more as like a ruse, that he was more calculating and what have you, and it sort of satiated me with him having all this information without really working for it.
Yeah, he did. I think the direction was given to him possibly like, okay, if you're gonna act him this way. This is what you do, and this is the writing for you. But he still did a good job in within himself. But I don't think it might have been a great choice for the movie.
I don't think he was written well at all.
I don't think he was written.
Yeah, but
like even with Batman and Superman, what they were given was kind of shitty. But what they did with it, they made if it was anybody else, you would have been like, this movie fucking blows.
Another thing I didn't care for. Too many fucking dream sequences.
Too long too.
On top of that, but there was just too many of them. We have him running away and falling into the cave. That's one dream sequence. Then you have the whole God complex, the Superman God complex, and then you got that futuristic. You mean
the dark side? The dark side dream.
The dark side dream, yeah, that Batman's having for no apparent reason, because he's all steampunk. But that one was like what, 20 minutes?
And then no,
because he's fighting the Superman shock troopers.
10 minutes, yeah. And then you have the paratroopers. Then you have the dream within the dream, which is Inception. Yeah.
So I'm like, please, somebody wake up and stay awake. And my problem is, Batman's a nocturnal. He's a nocturnal fighter. Why the fuck is he dreaming so goddamn much?
He's old.
No, but he should be up at night fighting crime, not sleeping.
Well, he had the early bird special. You eat those pancakes. You just.
No, because you do see him waking up at daytime.
Alfred had just given him food right then with like scotch, I think. What if he took a pill and started mixing the booze and the pills?
But good look.
Pills are good.
Alfred, you give me a rupee?
Yeah, you didn't give me an uppie.
Overall, I would have rather, if the deleted scenes are what they say they are, where there are a lot of like plot points cut, I would have, you should have had an R version and a PG-13 version. I would have rather seen everything at once, because I feel like a lot of the dream sequences will make more sense when the deleted scenes come out, hopefully.
I think Snyder said a lot of the stuff that was cut was really small stuff. That it was cut out because...
Well, it's at minimum 30 minutes of small stuff.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes of small stuff, but from different parts.
It's probably small stuff that links where you're like, why did it like that?
And the other dream sequence where he's in the cave and he's got that vision of Flash coming through the speed
that's what I was saying. That's a dream within the dream.
Well, but when we're going through that...
Was it a boom tube? Was it a boom tube?
That's what people are saying, because at the end there's stuff with Lex Luthor that makes people think it's a boom tube with the beep, beep, beep or whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's him going through the Speed Force, because Flash should be fast enough that he breaks through the time barrier where he can go back. He's actually the whole cause for his own transformation to the Flash.
Yeah.
If anybody knows the origin. So it sort of makes sense that they use Flash, but they ruined it. They took it away from it when you're just making it a dream.
Well, here's the thing with that scene. It's been stated that scene, it was just this week, I think, or last week, in an interview, that that dream sequence was filmed as an afterthought and put in the film. It wasn't part of the script.
It shows then.
Yeah, it wasn't part of the script. It was like, hey, we're doing this scene in here, and what if we did this? And then they filmed it and added it in there.
See, what I took it as, it felt like it wasn't a dream sequence, but they didn't explain. He could have been like, what was that?
He definitely was.
Well, then he comes up again. He comes up twice.
He comes up. So, the way you see it first out, you're thinking, oh, it's another dream sequence. It should have been more of a solid thing, and he should have been awake. I think it would have been more of an impact if he didn't put his head up and he was already fully awake, and he was like whoa, what the hell?
Yeah,
It would have made more
that
sense.
was one of those things where they mislead you on almost on purpose, and they could have made it more clear.
Well, yeah, and why bother doing that if you're going to show him in Lex Luthor
in the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have any
Considering
more
that-
positives or negatives, Lynn? Anything else that you want to pick out?
Oh yeah, big negative.
Okay.
Big negative. Batman using a gun. No principles in shooting anyone. The same thing that he detests. He has no problem killing those shock troopers. Putting bullets in it, and I'm like, what? The man's origin is he will never use a gun on account of his parents were killed by one.
If you go OG Batman,
No, I'm talking about overall.
OG Batman used guns.
Yeah.
OG Batman used guns. Before the cops code, yes he did.
Bob
I've heard that he
Kane
has
never-
guns.
I could bring up, a lot of the Bob Kane books right now and show you he never truly used a gun. He's been shown with them, but he's never used a gun to take a life. Batman's not one for taking a life. But in that whole sequence with the shock troopers, he goes to town like he's John Wayne. He's shooting up the Wild West.
He shot the dude in the face with the SMG.
I only saw like body shots.
No, he got a dude in the face with the
got
SMG. He
headshot.
got a dude in the face.
Yeah,
when he did a
shoot
twirl,
guys.
he did like a twirl, and he was
He did
holding
a
the guy's
twirl
gun
with
where
one
the guy was still
guy,
bent over. He had
and he was
the
shooting
gun and shot the
across
guy
the
right in the
world.
face.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, you don't do that to Batman. He's
But
like
also that's that dream is a dream of the future. So he might.
But no, that's the Superman dream.
No.
Yeah,
that what I'm saying is
all the
that
shock
he could have evolved even more as a character, as a person, to that point where he's like, I don't care, I'm
That's
killing
not-
people
that's-
left and right now.
that's not
even more
evolving.
so than he did throughout the film.
But the thing is, that's not evolving Batman. That's devolving Batman.
Well,
Wait.
it's
evolving
because
evolving the character.
no, it's not.
Evolving,
You're
changing,
killing. No. You're killing the character.
from
Because
your
you're taking
perspective.
No, from a general perspective, the main reason he will not use a gun is because his parents were taken from a gun, from a criminal with a gun. And then you have him, even though it's a dream sequence, blasting away like he's like some war-torn veteran. That takes away from the mythos of who Batman is. Batman's supposed to take down any enemy with the weapons he creates that are non-violent, but so that way
Probably
they
put
can
together
stand
some of those
justice.
SMGs.
Okay. I get why you don't like it. What I liked about it, especially because it was in the quote-unquote future, whether it was a dream sequence or not, because the Batman, when he says, and here's something that bothered me, where he said, if even we think a 1% chance, we have to take it as certain that we have to stop him. If we, in that situation, if Darkseid's coming and the world's going to end, I think that Batman would use guns. He would do whatever he could to take to. Now, granted, in the Batman mythos, yes, he doesn't do that. But I looked at this Batman as like a sign of the times, to where I look at it as like when people are all like, he killed a lot of people, Superman. Yeah, when you destroy buildings, you kill people. You're not going to be able to empty out every single building every time, frickin' Doomsday shows up, or, frickin' Freeze shows up, or Clayface, or whoever. People are going to die. Even Marvel killed people. Yes, in the last one they showed an effort to make sure to save as much people as possible. People are going to die.
Yeah, but they're still showing repercussions with that, hence
Yes.
why the whole Civil War picture.
But
so that ties together. Yeah, I understand
I
that.
like this Batman because it was, if it was,
Just say it. Just say it.
If those two existed in this day and age, and Batman had been doing it for 20 years, I would definitely understand. You know what? Batman does not give a fuck anymore. What he's
How many does he have to give,
But-
Brenden?
But I like that it gives the opportunity, and I saw that in, now granted, the whole Martha thing was dumb. The whole,
You
gosh,
might as well
have the
explain
same-
that since
you
you
have
got
the
to it.
same name, But I looked at that as that he got back to his roots. He realized, shit, I've gone off path. I'm shooting people. I'm not listening to, reason. I'm not listening to Alfred. I attacked somebody for no reason. That it gave him an opportunity to realize he can do better. I'm Batman.
Superman.
My point with that,
humanizes
my
Superman.
point with that is that Batman's supposed to be the most intellectual character as far as the DC superheroes. He's their version of Tony Stark, that he could create something to take someone out non-violently. You know, and the fact that what I do appreciate is that all the files that Lex Luthor had, to be honest, they took that away from something called the Batman Protocols during the Justice League storyline, where he had defenses and protocols put in for each member of the Justice League in case they ever went rogue. And that included Superman, that included himself, and Wonder Woman. So all those little video things that you saw coming from Luthor, that should have been under Batman's file. Like, it should have somehow wrapped around and say he got this information from Wayne Enterprises or something like that.
That's a problem.
Because that's his way, train of thought. Batman. Yes, we all stand together for a force of good, but at the same time, if you go rogue and you go bad, we got to put you down. I have a plan installed. That's Batman. Him going around using guns just for nilly-willy because he's got no choice, that's not Batman, because you take away his thought process away. Because he always has a plan A, B, and C. And in this, that's the only thing I didn't get from him as Batman.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of
he was just, a deer in headlights. He was just looking one way, and that's it. And I think, even with Ben Affleck playing a phenomenal Batman and Bruce Wayne, I think that's the only limitations I would say about his character that I didn't.
Yeah, but that's not even Ben Affleck's fault. That would be.
No. I think this is specifically story of how it was written.
One of the things that I got out of this film overall was I cannot wait. I hope that he directs his own Batman.
Well, he is. That was the whole deal.
There have been several reports saying he's not so sure now.
Well, that's because of the fan base.
But if he does, I know he could do since he knows how to act it, and he is a decent director. I loved Argo. Argo was very, very well directed. It's going to be probably one of the best Batmans. I've told people, this Bruce Wayne, his Bruce Wayne, not his Batman. His Bruce Wayne is the best since Keaton.
I liked his Bruce Wayne.
Well, I read yesterday he already has a script written.
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah, he wrote. So, he's a writer too. He's a screenwriter. Yeah. He wrote Matt Damon movie. What's
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. Thank you.
That's both their films.
Yeah, and he got Academy Award for that. So I mean, he's an accomplished writer as well.
Now, back to my little nitpicks.
Want to wait a second?
Oh,
there he is.
Yeah, I'm waiting on him.
Okay.
The Capitol building being blown up by the one guy that was a former Wayne employer.
Oh, yeah.
Just out of the blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, let's throw this one guy who worked for Bruce Wayne, and I guess he wasn't happy that his life was saved because Bruce Wayne was taking care of him.
But Lex wrote those checks. He wrote that stuff on the checks. He said that was his plan.
Yeah.
He wrote,
yeah, but
if it was me, the guy was like, why would he not say something?
Why would I not have cashed those checks? First of all, because did you see the numbers on those checks?
Well, yeah, it seemed
I didn't see the numbers. What I was looking at something else. What was one of the checks written for? How much?
They were six figures
per check.
Are you serious? Wow.
From Wayne Enterprise.
Dude was taking care of him.
Yeah,
damn.
exactly.
I thought it was just like here's your pay that you would have got normally.
No. This was Bruce Wayne looking out for one of his own.
Yeah.
But that leads me to another problem. Was Lex knew about, because it happened in the 18 months, so he stole those guys' checks.
Yeah, he never got them. That's mail fraud right there. Mail fraud. Add it to the list.
But what he's saying is that Lex already knew Bruce was doing this,
and he knew he was Batman.
Yeah, but nobody. You don't get this. You don't get any of this. Like, how does he get this information? You know what I mean?
He's a great.
It's Batman who's Batman. Like we said before, world's greatest detective didn't know shit. He just knew how to get kryptonite. That's all he was focused on, was getting that kryptonite.
Yeah.
And he can't even keep his tech safe because Diana was able to steal his tech.
Oh my God, that scene pissed me off.
Before we go too far, Lynn, do you have any major points you want to make? Anything else, or let's jump over to Brenden?
I was going to mention, the Superman Zen moment that he had, and Doomsday, the creation of Doomsday, and how he's anatomically incorrect, or I should say not incorrect. He's neutered.
Yeah, he's like a Barbie.
And yeah,
he's
he's definitely a Ken doll.
He's a
Ken
jacked up Ken doll that someone put in a microwave.
But the thing is, my problem with Doomsday as a whole, this was a character that was created for the death of Superman for reasoning, but when he was fleshed out, he came from another planet. He had nothing to do with Krypton. He was a Kryptonian background, but he wasn't off of the cells of dead Kryptonians. Like, poor Zod, man. Talk about a body that was bastardized. If any religious zealots should have a problem with this film, it's the fact of how they treat their dead. Because poor Zod was all over the place. And Doomsday was a character
like a $2 hooker.
Well, Doomsday was a character that was able to take on the entire Justice League and destroy them. And Batman's zipping around like nothing when Superman's out of the picture for 1 second. And I do like the fact that they made Wonder Woman say, you know what, Doomsday shit, I'm just going to be slashing away at him. But they should have had a lot more trouble than they did.
I actually liked... we could talk about the fight later, but the development of Doomsday, like what you initially started on, was...
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I would have rather hit the character Doomsday be disconnected from Zod. But it didn't.
Yeah, I would have.
But it didn't. It didn't sway me left or right. You know, it was kind of like it was another one of those things in the film that were just like, eh.
But he's a genetic mutation of a human and a Kryptonian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hey, look, if Lois Lane and Superman had a baby, it'd be Doomsday.
He's Luther's child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why I was laughing earlier, I totally pictured Lynn sitting there watching it. He's got no dick. Fuck this movie.
No. First of all, I expected Zack Snyder. Hello. It's Zack Snyder. Hello, Watchmen.
I know.
Dr. Manhattan.
Swinging dick.
Just the image of you picturing there and going, is that? No, he's got no fucking dick. He's got no fucking dick.
He's right now.
I'm like, holy crap, he's a Ken doll.
Did you write that? Fucking no fucking dick.
I just put he's like a Ken doll.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Can we jump over to Brenden now, Lynn? Good?
Yeah.
All right, Brenden. Hit us up with some of your positives and negatives that you got from this film.
I'm just gonna get my negative because we all have at least one big negative. Mine had nothing to do with the story. It had nothing to do with the freaking acting. It was the fucking music. It was too much. Like 90% of the movie had a score behind it, and in several spots, it was too loud. Like that's not even the theater because the whole movie would have been too loud if it was too loud.
I got that. Too.
That scene when Alfred dropped him off in that warehouse and he fight. It was too loud. I couldn't hear the punches. If he had straight up no music, just Batman, even yes, he used guns. Breaking that where he did that flip on that guy in on the big crate.
Yeah,
that was freaking dope. I couldn't hear it because of the music.
I like when he did the rock bottom on the dude. He brought him over.
Yeah, I would have preferred a lot of scenes, especially when it came to the action.
Yeah,
not have a heavy score overlap.
Well, they also did it. I think they just made some mistakes with the audio in the film as a whole. A lot of it has to do with the score, and maybe Hans Zimmer really is burnt out, and he needs to get away from it for a while.
Felt like he didn't give a shit.
Yeah, he needs to get away from it for a while.
It looked like it was phoned in.
And he even said that in his letter last week. He said, I think it was something along the lines that it was hard for me to find some defining music to separate this from the Nolan trilogy as well as Man of Steel. That he said it was difficult. I
don't blame him.
No,
I really don't.
I don't think it had anything to do with separating the two films. It was shit's random. So how the fuck do you get like a flow?
He also did Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? He also did Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is all over the goddamn place as well.
But Amazing Spider-Man 2,
the audio was
in comparison, No, in comparison, story-wise, is well written.
Oh no,
in
but we're
comparison
talking audio though right now with Hans Zimmer.
No, but I'm referring. So when he's watching this back and he's trying to put music to it, I think he had a little bit easier time getting the music done for Spider-Man 2 than he did for this film. And I can see that. It's because it's a jumbled mess.
But I also think he's burnt out.
He's burnt
out. The dude needs a.
But
he needs to go do something that's creatively different.
I don't think he's burnt out. He could be burnt out with the Superman thing, super films in general. But I don't think he's burnt out as a musician.
Oh no, not at all.
I think it's because of the mess that was in front of him as he's trying to put this to music.
It would stress me out.
He's like, he didn't know which way to go because he was hopping around so many different places. So like he says, in a movie you expect one key thing to be the entire theme for the film. You know, a little note or what have you that describes the whole film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he couldn't find it, hey, so he's going to throw whatever he can in there.
Whatever came to mind.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for that. It goes back to how the movie was set up for him. That I think was the overall cause of why the music was for Brendan, you know, overall all over the...
Was it just the music or was the audio as a whole? Because I tend to agree with you, Brendan, but for me it was the audio as a whole.
Yeah, to me it felt like a little bit. Yeah, he was kind of burnt out, but it felt to me like he was trying to overcompensate for the mess that he had to deal with. He's like, maybe if I put loud music in between these two scenes, it'll make sense because the music was in this scene.
It's the transition,
so they're connected.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
You see, if you take a piece here and you put it here, it makes it make sense. It felt like he was like trying to force the music in there to basically filler.
Yeah.
But it was just the whole like music cues and audio cues and just that's what took me out of the movie was that whole fight scene. I'm like, yeah, it's an awesome fight scene. It doesn't need anything extra. It was a fantastic fight scene.
Yeah.
That one and plus the Batman and Superman fight. It was good.
I think if they would have taken a step from John Williams, where if you remember in Return of the Jedi when Luke first hear Vader mention Leia come out his mouth, and that big baritone music that comes in that shows Luke really using his anger to get the edge on Vader, and you're thinking, oh wait, that's a little too dark for Luke, but it served his purpose to try to.
Yep.
If they would have done something like that for, let's say, that fight scene where it starts off big and then it tapers down a little bit towards the end of that fight scene where it's not overbearing and it's feeling the motion of the scene, I think it would have been more powerful in impact. But I agree. Or not have a piece of music attached to that fight scene, because a lot of times with a fight scene, sometimes the natural noises that are going on in a fight have more of an impact than it would be if it had music attached. Nowadays, you feel like there has to be a musical piece to every scene in a movie.
Yeah,
that's a lost art, and for somebody like him who's used to doing stuff like that shows the problem in this film as a whole. But, the layout.
What I got out of that scene, the music that was with it was more for traditional Batman's overcoming. He's kicking ass. Whether or not you liked that he used guns or you did, this Batman, he's a brutal Batman. And what's more brutal than literally there's no sound other than him breaking bones, shooting people, punching them down, breaking boxes. That would have, to me, emphasized more of the rough edge of this Batman.
Yep. I would have preferred that as well.
Aside from that, we can get back to that. A couple other things that bothered me. Up until like the last hour, it felt to me Lex Luthor had no fucking reason to be in that movie. He just stood by and let everything happen. How the fuck if you're Lex Luthor and you're as smart as you say you are, or as he showed he was, you're gonna let Bruce Wayne, who you know is Batman, hijack your shit. You're gonna let that drunk Batman. There's no fucking way with how smart she is that she was like, oh hey, you just happen to be looking at the server.
Well, hold on. If we want to talk stupid characters, Lois Lane.
Oh yeah, I'll get to her.
For a top of the line journalistic reporter. She's the most stupidest woman on the face of the planet in this film. And
say that. Hold on, say that.
Go ahead.
Oh my god, Lois Lane sucked in this one, and her hair was the wrong color.
Well, she kept her hair from the previous film.
Well, that was her complaint for Man of Steel, was it was wrong.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, she's completely an idiot.
Yeah,
she's an idiot. The only smart thing she did that seemed relevant was when she dived in to try to get the spear. That's the only smart and relevant thing she did throughout the whole movie. Everything else, you wonder, like, why is she doing this?
Why did she go to the Middle East?
Yeah, there was no purpose for her. That's a person who did not need to be in the film.
A good explanation for her going to the Middle East is exactly what the new senator or whatever, the old general, described to her. He goes, "You're just a reporter who reached too far to get a story, reached farther than she should have," or whatever. Whatever he said, that sentence was a perfect explanation for that scene, and that explanation could have just kicked that scene out of there with her trying to do whatever she did.
No, she was there to help the fact that that's the only way Superman would have gotten there. Luther wanted her there.
But what other stuff bothered me? Why did he let his assistant get blown up?
Oh, Luther?
Yeah.
He didn't care.
She's his right hand lady, man, whatever.
She obviously knows a little bit of what's going on, and yeah, he just doesn't care.
I did love the whole California or the Georgia peach tea or whatever the hell it was. That
sweet
was
peach tea?
hilarious.
The sweet.
Yeah, that Granny's peach tea. That was funny. I like that. Hey, fuck you, you're gonna die.
You could piss in a jar and tell me it's sweet peach tea, but you ain't gonna pull one on me. I ain't gonna drink it, or whatever.
So
the other thing that got me was, why would anybody think Superman would blow that up, and how he would blow that up? If the building if the building collapsed, yeah, maybe Superman was flying around in there and collapsed it, but why the fuck would he blow it up? It makes no sense.
Wait, you're referring to the Capitol building?
Yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't blamed for that.
No, well, they said the reporter, they show like with the computer, the camera goes by one of the reporters saying he didn't do anything or he was complicit with it and was part of it.
That's what, yeah.
But at the same time, when he's having that conversation with Lois, he says, "I didn't see it." Now, mind you, the chair is made out of lead. One of Superman's weaknesses.
Wait, we don't know it's made out of lead.
If you pay attention to that, you automatically assume, and you look at it, Lex knows it was made out of lead because he gave it to the guy. That was purposeful. How else would Superman not see a bomb inside a wheelchair?
Yeah.
If it's not lead.
Okay. That leads to one of my issues that I'll talk about.
The point is, Lex Luthor had way too much information in comparison to anybody else. For it to be just 18 months, since Superman's been around. Way too much information. And another thing that I had an issue with is the government itself. The fight with Doomsday, when Superman and Doomsday go up into break the atmosphere, they have no problems. Hey, let's just nuke them. We don't care about the residual impact that'll happen to the planet if we nuke them. Let's just do it.
Right in the atmosphere.
Let's blow away let's blow away our ozone layer and what have you. Have nuclear particles, travel through the entire planet just to nuke, Superman and Doomsday, and whoever comes out comes out.
The whole and the one last thing that got me was, why was Wonder Woman after that picture in the first place? Who cares?
Hide her identity, I guess. I think that's one of the few pictures.
If it's a picture of a picture, if somebody's seen it, and in that universe, because it's more of a modern current, because they had. That could be faked. All she'd have to say is, "Oh, wow, that looks a lot like me." There's tons of pictures nowadays that are from the 1800s that got me.
Yeah. I think that whole scene right there with the pictures just a throwaway to her upcoming film.
I just want to make sure you see Chris Pine. That's all.
Well, no. They wanted to make sure that, hey, you know what? You'll know about that story about the picture when you watch her
movie
separate film, because that's where it's going to be based on.
I guess overall it felt like.
That was a throwaway, I could say.
The good part and the bad part of it that I liked, it was a lot of fan service. That's what it was. A lot of the shots, like the shot where the gun breaks the pearl, that's literally a comic panel.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole... I was reading an article that Kevin Smith wrote about his... I don't know if you guys read it, about what he thought about the movie.
No.
he saw it twice. The first time he said it had no heart. He said that the actors were great. He loved Ben Affleck, but they did the best what they were given. But there was no heart. It felt very jumbled. But he said, whether you like Snyder or not, the man knows how to set up a shot.
Oh yeah.
That freaking scene where you saw the Omega beam in the ground and that pan over the, whether it's Apocalypse or Earth, doesn't matter. It looked amazing. Those shots that were homage to the comics, I liked. But if you're trying to make your film more serious, which it, more grounded in reality, that stuff shouldn't have been in there. Or it should have been presented in not a dream sequence, not another way. But then he said he watched it again with Jason Mewes. Kind of messed up right now. So the name of the little demon things?
Parademons.
Parademons. He said there was a moment when those showed up, he's like, they looked at each other and they're like, parademons. They're like, oh shit, it's parademons. He said that's the heart of the movie, is the fans that may not be hardcore fans, but they know they have certain aspects they like. It was cool for them to see it on film. It wasn't put together correctly, which I think is my overall complaint in the movie. It was not put together well.
It's just not flowed right.
It didn't flow. You know what I just thought of? It felt like when they told him, cut it down a half hour, that he cut it, took it apart, and was like, oh shit, how did this go together?
What do I do now?
That goes here. Let's put that here. You know what? Fuck it. Doomsday is over here. And, and then he's like, done. Like, he had 5 minutes left. He had 5 minutes to test.
He was like, I gotta put this puzzle back together. Where's the background? Here's the end, here's the beginning.
This is the SATs of the film universe. I only got 10 minutes left. A, B, B, A.
No, just C, all the way.
Or he's just like, you know what?
Oh, wait, I gotta throw in A and D just in case. So C, 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 D, C, 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 B,
because
C,
he
C,
said
D.
he's a big fan of the comics. He was just like, you know what? I like this shot. I like this shot. I like this shot. I like this shot. You know what? Let's figure out how to put them together.
I think that's how he did it. I really did.
The thing about Zack Snyder, and you're talking about it, you mentioned it, is, and it even came from Kevin Smith, is that a lot of people refer to Zack Snyder as a visionary genius, kind of, when he does his movies. A lot of his visionary stuff is setting up shots, that kind of stuff. He does amazing at it. Whether or not you like Sucker Punch, that thing had some shots. I liked Sucker Punch. I thought it was a little weird, but I thought
here's the thing. Going off of that, Zack Snyder, because he is I want to say he wants to be pleasing to the geek crowd that go to movies, and let's go back to 300, where he used one element and used that one element throughout the whole picture, the rock, the one pillar, and he focused so many scenes using that one set. The rest of it being green screen, but using that one set, he basically did a whole movie. What I appreciate with this, though, as he's moving on and he's progressing, this one didn't have as much CG stuff and is a lot more grittier a film than a lot of his previous stuff. Even when you compare it to, Sin City and Watchmen, this is a lot more grittier and more realistic than those two films.
Well, either
that I appreciate.
Either that, or they just did it really damn good, and you can't tell, and that's when it's done good.
Well, no, you could tell, like with the Doomsday fight, you could tell.
I mean, when somebody's shooting a laser beam from the eye is obvious.
No, I'm referring to the interactions between characters.
Yeah.
This is where with him, if you look at the earlier pictures, where you tend to lose it, and you're like, this is too much CG. 300, perfect example. There are certain scenes with the guys and the spears, and you can tell that they're all CG guys. You only had a couple guys. You know what I mean? So, and I could appreciate the fact that he took it more of a realistic approach and used a lot of realistic effects and not really cater too much to the visual unless when needed, like for, say, the Doomsday fight.
Well, what I was saying, though, is like what Brenden was mentioning is that he is praised for what he's able to do with his vision of a shot, of a movie, in that sense. So, I mean, being able to see those types of things, like you said, Brenden, that's what he's known for.
What I liked, I said I love friggin' Affleck. I loved his Batman. I loved the suit. The suit was really, really cool. I like how we mentioned earlier how Alfred was helping with I love they explained why his voice is the way it is. It's a freaking modulator in his. He's not just talking dark for no fucking reason.
Yeah, it's his cowl.
Which that was my one. That's what I hated about Bale's Batman. I hated that fucking bat voice. It just, and that they added it post.
Yeah.
And that he didn't want to do that. He was just gonna do maybe speak a little bit deeper as Batman, but that they added that in post because they felt like they needed to differentiate.
I think the modulator makes perfect sense because as Batman, you want to separate yourself from any normal ties that can go back to you.
Which what I didn't.
And this
like
is something.
Superman.
This is something that he would do. He would disguise his voice to the point that it's completely unrecognizable to his normal speaking voice.
It's kind of like what Flash does in the TV show where he shakes his face.
Well, yeah, he does the speed trick where it basically blurs.
Now,
Yeah.
When he was fighting Superman didn't bleed except for that cut that he got and when he got stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the stuff they cut is he said the fights were more brutal. That's what he said. He had to cut down the fight.
Yeah, they're more brutal. That was the words. The wording was brutal.
I hope that's not the full 30 minutes cut out because I swear to God.
No, I don't know. I liked. Like I said, I liked. I still, yes.
I have a problem with the fight though.
Henry is a good actor. I don't like his Superman.
I think his Superman is very, very dull, very flatlined as a character.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's him or the fact that he's bringing what he can to what's given to him. But then again, this is the same thing that I got off of him in Man of Steel. Nothing's really changed in personification of Superman. I don't see him as this big, outspoken blue Boy Scout, and I know they're trying to make Superman as realistically human as possible so people can relate to him.
You shouldn't only smile when you bone Lois Lane. You should smile other times.
Yeah, that's not Superman. Superman's supposed to be this otherworldly, bigger, larger-than-life character, and he's never come off at that.
And I totally did not like the disrespect they showed to that house, spilling that water everywhere. I don't know why that bothered me, but that really, I'm like...
You know why? It's because in California over here, we're in a drought, and they're just wasting water left and right. Take your clothes off, lower the level of the water.
You know what it was? That Batman didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You're going to ruin the floor. Okay.
My thing, the kryptonite dust, and Batman's telling you to breathe in. All right, that thing's in your lungs. That's going through your system. And it goes like that. It's like the shortest amount of time that Superman was hindered down by kryptonite. And it was just minutes. I'm like, really? The more exposure he has to the kryptonite, he should have less.
Should take longer, yeah.
Power. So if he's breathing it in, basically his body should be poisoned right now, and he should be as weak as a kitten. And it was not long enough for him to go from getting his ass beat to swinging Batman around like a puppet.
So then they should have a 3-hour and 30-minute film with that.
Well, no, I'm just thinking that the dust. I'm just thinking that the dust should have made more of an impact for him. Because
it's inhaled into the body. It's in
right,
the body, bloodstream.
It's in his bloodstream and everything.
Not like a rock being right here, which can be taken away, and now you're away from specs. Yeah,
right. It should have been more of an effect. It's just like too quick, too shot. And I think the only reason they did that is because they wanted to turn the tide and make it seem like, oh well, we need to have Superman kicking Batman's ass because right now Batman's overpowered.
Yeah. Okay, so let me jump into some of my positives, negatives. I tend to agree with both of you guys on different items. I think we all agree that Brenden didn't mention it though yet, but I think that this film is definitely more so a Batman film than a Batman versus Superman. I mean, the plot, the storyline focuses on, Batman going after Superman or Lex Luthor then to Superman. But overall, they did a really good job with developing this Batman that we're going to see in the future, which I definitely enjoyed watching those Ben Affleck Batman sections of the film. I definitely liked the fight scenes with Batman, with the warehouse, and also with Superman. I thought those two scenes were definite examples of what Batman could do, but I want to see more of him just whooping dude's ass like in the warehouse. That warehouse fight was awesome. I think that that the acting overall, there was two different sides of the coin. I think you can do only as good as you can with what you're given, and then there's just I don't care, you know. I think for the most part everybody tried their best, but like we've talked about, the story, this plot, the script, it doesn't seem like it was all put together very well. And so you have, Who wrote it? I don't have that on me right now. Let's find out.
Yeah, because I would take the person who wrote the screenplay, or even the script writer, before it got turned into a screenplay. Don't do another one. Stick to something that they're more familiar with, and I'm hoping.
I want to see more, because if you look at like the bat suit just in general compared to like Nolan's bat suit, it's way more technologically advanced. I would like to see more gadgets in Batman's film, because Batman knows his tech, Alfred knows his tech. They could come up with really cool, new, fresh takes on the typical, you know.
Well, that's my point. How I was saying that, you know, this is a guy who digs up 3 different plans and builds something that would help him benefit. That's why I thought them copping out and him using guns for whatever scenes is possible. When, you know, you only saw a couple little batarangs here and there, and that's it, and the modulator.
Yeah,
that's it. They should have shown more tech.
I think that was I guess I want to say symptom of trying to shove all that stuff into one film.
Yeah.
Where if it had literally just been a Batman and Superman film, you would have seen him develop those gadgets, and
I think that would have saved the plot line a little more.
What you needed to do, you need to either call the movie Batman vs. Superman and just do that, or call it just Dawn of Justice and then focus on putting them together.
Yeah,
trying to do both.
To be quite honest, it did feel like it was 2 movies being smushed.
Yeah.
If you want to put it that way, because even with the introductions of Aquaman and Cyborg and Flash, you know, in each of their little snippets of origins, you know, it felt like that didn't need to be there.
And not only that, they're going to do an origin story for each fucking character. When they
we already saw most of Cyborg's poor guy,
which
in the
I
3
like
snippets.
That box excites me. That tech,
that master box or whatever it's called. Regarding Batman's costume, I liked what they did with it. With the bullets ricocheted off of it, if you notice, but then the straight direct piercing of the knife was able to pierce it, and so that makes it very based in reality with some of the things that you have nowadays, where glancing bullets can deflect off of those. So I like that, what they did with that, because you're mentioning that. I just want to throw that out there. The initial writer was David Goyer, and then Chris Terrio came on and did rewrites after that.
That's probably the rewrites.
The rewrites are probably what threw a lot of things off.
Yeah,
because when you take somebody's work right off the bat and you just start changing around, and you might not totally understand what they were trying to do or what they meant to do with this dialogue or that dialogue, that can totally mess it up. Again, fight scenes, like I said, I liked the Batman Superman, like the Batman Warehouse one. With the Batman, when he's going to chasing down the Russian dude from Marvel Winter Soldier, but he's also in this one, that dude with the tattoos,
the White Russian,
when he's trying to figure out the White Russian and all that stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
When they get the box of the kryptonite, he starts killing people. That's when we start seeing him kill people, right?
White Portuguese.
Huh?
Yeah. The White Portuguese.
White Portuguese. Right. White Russian's a drink that we that I stick to Fridays and Saturday nights. Yeah.
That's what Alfred gave Bruce to fall asleep.
I agree with Brenden about the whole Batman killing thing. I have a different theory, and about why he's killing. and I like it. I've kind of, it's an amalgamation of kind of why I thought, like I said, he's changing his character arc, he's evolving or devolving, whichever way you want to look at it, is perspective in your case, Lynn.
Devolving
is the fact that there's been a change in him that happened when he saw people die when Zod fought Superman. And the fact is, like, you see that change in front of you when he hugs the little girl. And he looks back up at the building after she says, "My mom was up there," when he asks where's his mom's at. And he's just filled with rage. And for the next 18 months, he's filled with rage. So he has, like we've said earlier, I think it was you, Lynn, that you said he had tunnel vision. And I think he did have tunnel vision. And that's why, you know what? These people are shooting at me. I need to do what's best to get to the point where I need to get, which is to get Superman. And so if they're shooting at me, I'm going to shoot him back. And he didn't care. And whether or not that's right or wrong based on comics or past history with Batman, that doesn't matter, because in this movie, that's how he was portrayed. I liked it because, you know what? He ain't got no time for that. They're going to be shooting at him. He's going to shoot him.
So yeah, that's for the, and I want to put it this way, that's for the YouTube generation to get a quick pop.
No, but here's the other thing. And I mentioned it, I still haven't watched it yet, but there's a YouTube video out there that talks about all the possible deaths, kills that Batman's had over the past 7 films anyway. So the fact is whether he's killing them directly with a bullet to their head or indirectly by blowing up their car and, oh, well, they just didn't get out in time, that's their fault. I'm okay with him in this situation. And even when he's in the warehouse, they had guns, but he still subdued them, right? He threw those little things at their guns to blow away their guns, and then he just whooped their asses. You know, they might be dying and bleeding out from internal injuries, whatever the case may be. I like this brutal, no hold bars Batman. I like that. The Wonder Woman thing with Gal Gadot. I can't say she did a great job. I know that when she was there, I actually, this is the one audio part that I did like. I actually did like her entrance music. It caught my attention, but overall, she did good in the fight scene, but we haven't seen enough of her to I don't think, at least in my opinion, that we have enough of her on film to decide if she's going to be a good Wonder Woman for her standalone or not. I think it was a little weird that when she got the email and it says from Bruce Wayne, and then she shows up when they're fighting, Doomsday, then they both look at each other. Was she with you? I thought she was with you. You just emailed her, dude. You just emailed her showing her in her civilian clothes, like, hey, I know you're Wonder Woman. Us boys share. Like, dude, like that part, like, and that was in the trailer with the thing. But so I didn't like that. That was a kind of a waste of time, and that the line did not match with what their knowledge was.
Yeah, that's the whole point of why we all three of us have said it's a jumbled mess.
Yeah, there's other things about knowledge. There's knowledge in this film that they put on screen in ways. Like you explained, like you talked about the chair, about it being lead. Unless you guys are literally telling me that you saw on there said made with lead, I didn't see it made with lead, and I didn't even think about that. But that leads me to the assumption that leads me to the thought that I've been thinking about this film is that
you pick up that with the conversation that he's having with Lois. How he's saying he did not see it.
Okay, yeah, no.
So you go back.
I get what you're going. I get what you're going with. But what I'm saying is that none of this stuff has been explained. We don't know entirely what Superman in this universe is, what his limitations are, because there are different versions of Superman throughout the history of Superman. Now, what I'm trying to get out is that the people that made this movie, the people that wrote it, Zack Snyder, Nolan as a producer, Goyer, and Terrio, all of them, they left a lot of stuff in this film with us having to make assumptions, or them making the assumptions that we have the knowledge of it. Now, if you are a die-hard Batman, Superman, Justice League, JLA fan, you'll pick up on that stuff. Possibly. Otherwise, there's no way to pick it up. And then they also did that not only with the Easter eggs, but they did it with also just the storytelling. They made these assumptions that we know why Lex is doing what he's doing. No, we don't know why. And not just because of his grandpa, waving lilies or flowers. That we don't know why. They didn't do a good job of portraying his reason for this. We understand why Batman was doing it, and they did a good job at that. And as much as I like Henry Cavill, I loved him in Man from U.N.C.L.E. I think he's a good actor, and I think his Superman's, it's not a bad Superman, but he did the best he could with what he got. And they had some really bad lines in there for him. The whole Man of Steel crew on this thing, Perry White, Lois Lane, all of them, they're afterthoughts in this film. They're afterthoughts in this film. There's no connection.
Yeah,
There's no connection
they
with
could
them.
have done away with anything pertaining to the
Yeah,
Daily Planet.
so there's some things in this film where you have this connection because it actually built it in the film with Batman, but they didn't give you the connection with the Man of Steel side of things unless you saw Man of Steel. Brenden.
How the fuck did Clark Kent not get fired?
Yeah. He's always gone. You would figure he would run out of vacation time or something, right?
How is he not fired? He doesn't do anything.
No, he couldn't even cover a football game, which people are saying that could have been another assumption that we know is Cyborg, is because he used to be a football player, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying that football game is supposed to be
Cyborg got hurt.
Cyborg got hurt?
Yeah, that's what people are saying, but I mean that's neither here nor there. That
they didn't put it in there, so we can't tell because he didn't go there. He didn't go to report it, so we'll never know.
There's one shot of the TV that showed the game in progress.
Yeah.
Oh
because Perry White was yelling, "Where the hell is Kent?"
Yeah.
So
and then he says it like 5 times.
Yeah.
I get fired if I don't show up to work twice.
Yeah.
Twice. I get fired after 2 times.
Wait, two times no call, no show.
Yeah, 2 times no call, no show, I'm fired.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he's no call, no show. And that's the whole aspect that always, because it's more realistic.
Maybe Perry knows something more, because hell, if Lex knew everything, what the hell do we know? For all we know, Lois can say
everything.
But here's the thing, that's my point. Everybody knows everything except Batman.
Yeah. The greatest detective on Earth doesn't know everything.
But what I mean is maybe Lois said, "Hey, look, give him a little rub. He's just because Perry is a little soft on Clark in general as a character.
He's
he's supposed to be the big country lug that doesn't know anything about city life.
Here's something else. It's funny. It's from Man of Steel. Lois and Superman kiss in the thing right before he fights Zod. Remember that? And then now Clark comes into the Daily Planet, and now he and Lois are an item living together. And Perry and the dude from House of Cards and Dana, what's her name, Jenna, we're all there seeing Lois kiss Superman. And they can't figure it out. They probably figured it out too. They probably know he's Superman as well.
You know why? That's why he said nobody reads newspapers, because they suck at their jobs.
Yeah,
they are
terrible journalists.
Corpse.
They're terrible.
Well, it's obvious Lois is a terrible journalist.
Okay,
I had issues with the.
Quick. What I felt like that Snyder did with this same problem I have with the Resident Evil films. He looked at the stuff that's popular and said, "I like that. I like that. I like that. Let's put it together and not have it make sense."
Threw it in a pot, stirred it up. And
in fairness to the Resident Evil films, they're a little bit more well-rounded than this film was.
That's a stretch.
No. They have a plot, and it goes from A to Z. This goes from A, X, W, B, D, F, L, and it's all over the place.
Why
it's jumbled.
The fuck was the Executioner in a fucking locker room? That makes no goddamn sense. He's not even in that area in the Resident Evil universe.
Well, we're sticking with Batman vs.
Fuck him.
Some of the other things, like we talked about earlier, the audio was an issue for me. It felt like overall the score was too much, and the audio was just it wasn't clear. Like when there were lines being delivered at only certain points, when there was like no sound, you can hear things clearly. And other times I was like wishing, and I'm repeating myself, but I wish I had closed captioning on it or subtitles, because the audio was bad at some points. Otherwise, though, I have a lot of the same likes and dislikes as you guys. There's one that revolves around the fight, I think, that I just thought was really cheap and didn't deserve to happen in this one, and because of the lack of development on the Man of Steel side of things in this film, it was poorly used, and they should have waited till another point where it could get that grief is when they killed Superman. I didn't think it was deserved. I thought it was cheap. I thought it was shoehorned in there just to get some gaffes and some wows. I didn't think it was properly used. I think it could have been waited for another movie at another time.
Yes and no.
And then, wait.
I agree and disagree with you on that.
And then right after they kill him, I was like, are they really doing this? This is literally what's going on in my head in the theater. I'm going, are they really doing this? They're killing him. It's only been 2 movies. They're killing him already. They're not going to let him die. And then what happens 3 minutes later? The dirt rises. And I'm like, I knew it. They thought they had some balls. And then we don't have balls. Let's bring him back. Let's bring him back.
Here's my problem with that. The Doomsday death with Superman had to happen. Period.
That's fine.
It makes sense because he's the last ditch effort that stops Doomsday. So they kept that. At least they kept that he was the only thing that could stop.
When Doomsday shows up, Batman or Superman dies.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That
but they needed to do a better job to develop it to get to there.
My thing is they should have never showed that end clip with the little dirt rising because this was not a Jesus Christ moment that happened in 3 days.
The last hour
they cheapened
everything.
Yeah.
Made everything all for nothing.
No, what they should have done is, yes, he died. Yes, they grieve. They leave it at that, and they focus on, Batman and Wonder Woman looking for the other Justice League members, the other, superpowered metahumans. And then in another film, you have a snippet of the grave, and it's shifting. Not the coffin, when a little bit of dirt is thrown on it, but in another film, you have the grave with it shifting. Because now Superman has been underground and his body has been absorbing the solar energy, like in Return of Superman storyline, where it takes time for his body to heal and what have you. Not a little spur of the moment, quick reaction. That's what killed it.
I got it. Okay, so here's how the movie ends. Superman dies, they do the thing. Batman, or Bruce Wayne, and Wonder Woman are sitting there, and they're like, we gotta get you guys together. He goes, yeah, we do. And he looks at her and goes, I could kill you too, right? And then boom, credits.
Here's the thing about that relationship. I thought at the party there could have been possible chemistry building, and
that was purposely.
No, I know. They could have built on that, and they kind of did.
But I think the reason why is because, in actuality, the Trinity, which is Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, there's also a
love triangle.
Yeah. And as long as Lois is in love with Superman and vice versa, that's not happening. So you could only tease snippets of that.
Yeah, you want it to happen. You want it to happen.
You want it to be a big moment. Yeah,
that's how I feel about the death of Superman. I understand that with Doomsday, there you kind of got to follow through with what we know, and I understand, but that's a part of the knowledge.
The only thing I would have asked is you cut that coffin scene out, the shot of the coffin in the little dirt. You cut that out and save something for bigger. I would have waited until Batman and Wonder Woman found all the Justice League members. And in the initial film, as they're fighting whatever big bad they're going to fight, and we think it's Apocalypse, but it may not be Apocalypse in that first film. It might just be teases. It might be one of his monarchs. And as they're getting the shit kicked out of them, boom, the earth splits open, out comes Superman to save the day. To pull the Justice League out of the fire. That's what they should have done.
It should have been dirt covering the coffin. That should have been the end.
Yeah, they should have just put the dirt in. Lois said goodbye. Everybody said goodbye to Clark. All that spun, but never showed that coffin scene.
Well, but my main point about that death, even though we want it to happen, is they didn't do a good enough job of, in this film, building any kind of connection with that side of the film, the Man of Steel side of the film. And so when he died, how many lines did Henry Cavill have in this film? 20? Maybe? 30? He had more than Man of Steel, I think, but still not very many. And so you have all these points where even you're saying, Lynn, that he's pretty flat. And so it's like...
And I think it's because of the writing.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
They don't let him explore it.
These moments, like the death of Superman, is a product of its entire environment, which it should... I don't know, too many hands in the pot, too many cooks in the kitchen, and it just took away from any connection I had. And I've always been a lover of Superman, and the character, and But still, even then in this film, it's like he dies, and I'm like, the first thing is really, like it's not like oh, it's like really, like I would have liked for them to build it up better to that point.
Well, it was almost like they killed him twice.
Yeah.
'Cause after the nuke hit him, it was like the, and then oh I'm alive, and then oh I'm dead again.
Yeah.
Well, when the nuke hit him, he was still, in the atmosphere, so he was getting the absorption from the sun.
Well, no, I
and
get
that's
that.
where you see that. But you were meant to get that.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
because the sun
his
comes up
body
over
needs
the
to
horizon.
recharge. Right. His body needs to recharge to get back to what he's supposed to, because that's where he draws his power from. So that's what gets me about that fucking scene with the coffin. There was no sun on top of him. He should not have been like, oh look.
It should take a lot longer.
And the other thing is the whole ceremony that they gave him. Like if he's some fucking hero. These are the same people who were looking
Condemning him
to condemn and damn him for using his powers for destroying, a metropolis and things like that.
And that brings
and for blaming. So you're gonna give him a hero send off?
Yeah, that brings up one of the other points that I had, and they kind of mentioned that little island, when they come back down, they land on that little island in between Gotham and Metropolis in the little harbor. They mentioned that nobody's there. Really? They show Doomsday doing his little nuclear blast thing, and
get bigger.
Yeah, and he's evolving in that scene, whatever. And they show that nuclear blast, and it takes down like a dozen blocks in every which direction. These are like 5-story high buildings. You're telling me not one person's on that damn island, and you only put
It's Arkham City.
Huh?
It's Arkham City.
I don't know. Like to me, that doesn't. That's totally like really.
That'll be
It's a cop out.
It's a cop out. It's a cop out.
Yeah, they used a lot of cop outs for different parts.
Yeah, and then you only show Superman die and then Clark Kent's death. What a coincidence!
Yeah.
Them saying it was empty felt like that was their answer saying, hey, we're not killing everyone. They made sure there was nobody on that area because people from Man of Steel like, oh my god, he killed so many people.
Again.
Back to my point.
But my point is,
people.
A good 2/3 of the film, Superman's meant to be like this guilty convict. Like, I didn't do no wrong. He's trying to prove that he did no wrong, and the entire world looks at him like, yeah, well, you did. Thousands of people died because of your use of powers.
The boyfriend, she gotta go for, I didn't mean to bang her, she fell on my dick.
Yeah, and then at the same time, he was such a great guy, let's kiss his butt since he's no longer with us.
Here, well,
I'm like,
we kind of got a good feeling of what we overall thought are the positives, negatives of this film. I want to go to let's talk about our. You guys, let's right now. Do you guys want to score this film?
What would you want to base the scores on?
1 through
0
through 10.
0 through 10.
0 through 10. Or do you guys want to do it in a different way, which I sometimes do it in a way of like a recommendation of. See it in theaters right now. Wait till Blu-ray. Don't see it at all, kind of thing, or just score it. I think because I kind of like both of them.
C+.
Because a score is an arbitrary number.
I would say let's give it like between an A and an F.
Okay, like a grade. Okay, a grade same as a score. A grade is like a score. It's an arbitrary number or letter, kind of. But a see it or something like that is actually kind of advice. Like, hey, you might not like it, but you should see it.
Right.
C+. Great effort.
Wait, hold on. So wait.
See me after class.
I guess he's starting his grade.
Yeah.
See me after class. If you want to see Batman fight Superman, go see it. If you are a insane Superman, Batman lore guy, you may not like it because you have to go into it with an open mind.
Definitely
if you're willing to go with an open mind and look past the flaws, if you're going to see a popcorn movie, go see it.
All right, Lynn. Now, since we're going to have to do a jump cut just like in the film, which had many jump cuts, with this jump cut, Lynn, what would you say to people watching right now? Let's give it a letter grade, and would they watch it or not?
I would give it a D+, for obvious reasons, because I thought it was too much of a mess. They used a lot of cop-outs. But if you want to just enjoy and get away, if you could afford to get away for the 2+ hours that it is, because it is going to take a huge chunk out of you. I would definitely say see it if you have the time. Or, to be honest, if you're on the fence, wait till the release on DVD, or, in this day and age, wait for the digital release when you're able to, get it digitally and watch it that way. But if you just want to kill 2.5 hours and watch a decent try at a super team film and see something that has never been accomplished before in Batman fighting Superman, watch it just for that alone. If you're gonna go in there and you're sticking to lore and you're looking for nitpicks and what have you, like I sat down with my notes, and even then I still was able to find enjoyment in watching it just by watching it as a movie, a subpar superhero film, but a movie nonetheless that is still watchable. It's still a good popcorn film. I give it a D+.
I would say to mine, I did not.
D+.
D.
That means
D as in
you're
dead
still
super.
on that curve of passing, but there's still a lot of things that you still could have changed to get a little bit better. And
I would say
that's up to you.
if I put down my $11, I got $11 worth out of it. I would not ask for my money back.
Just time alone.
It did it at time alone, but it had enough in it that kept me interested. Because a part of it was, what the fuck are they going to do now? I cannot wait to see how they're going to fuck this up some more. Where the fuck are they going? That's where they're going? Are you kidding me? And then, oh, that was awesome.
Hey, if we ever do commentary on this after it comes out on Blu-ray, that'll be Brendan's part of the commentary right there. That's what.
Yeah.
They
did that?
What I was
Really?
going to say is, hey, after you are done recording this, when I talk, can you put like a score, like a big musical thing, so it makes what I'm saying sound more important, more cooler,
more powerful?
Give me like
I have to make sure I can find royalty-free music to use.
Okay.
Hey, you want to put the birthday song, behind?
I know it's public domain now, isn't it?
I think that's copyrighted.
No, I think it's public domain now. I think they just had a court case about it now.
No, originally it was public domain.
No, it's now public domain. It was privately held, but now it's public. So yeah, my score grade letter, I think I would just give it a C. It's a passing student who doesn't put too much time into school and skates by I don't know.
That's why I said D+.
Getting turning in a homework assignment here and there. This film has a lot of issues with it. It has some positives, and I think the fighting, the grand scope of it, seeing something like Lynn said, seeing something you've never seen before on screen is awesome. But there's so many issues with this that it deters from all that awesomeness.
Right.
I think that this film is worth seeing in theater just to give it a chance. Regardless of what we say about it, this film is so divisive that your opinion on this film should be made by actually watching it. Right, guys?
Oh yeah, but that's the whole point.
That was a jab right there.
that's the whole point of a popcorn film.
Yeah.
You should definitely watch it, even if it gets berated by press or anything else. If you want to watch it, watch it.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be seen in movie theaters. So Brendan's giving it a C+. Go see it.
I'm also on my grade. Don't let your dad help you with your homework.
Okay, yeah, keep it away from the dog as well. Lynn is giving it a D+ with a C it as well. Fun popcorn flick by both of you guys. And I'm giving it a C, thinking it's a good film as well in the sense that it's something you should see in theaters while it's there. So guys, that's it for today. Is there anything you guys want to promote or talk about that's going on that you're working on right now, Brendan?
No, for Primal, so I can start getting on that.
All right, Lynn.
I finally got the rest of the episodes of Minecraft.
Woo!
Yay!
Yay!
All right.
I just gotta ask for a refund.
So you guys,
I had to buy the episodes over again and then go back to Microsoft and get a refund.
all right, guys. So make sure you follow. What? Go ahead.
Quick, before we end, what do you want to see in Justice League Part 1, and what do you want to see in the solo Batman film?
All right, let's keep that down to a couple minutes. Justice League Part 1.
Fine. Yeah.
Go, Brendan.
What? Bad guy. I want to hear what you
He asked the question, so he has to be loud.
All right, so you go first, Lynn.
No, I want
Okay, you're saying Batman and Justice League?
Let's go Justice League Part 1. What do you want to see?
Justice League is going to be after Batman, correct? Okay, so, well,
Assume let's say Batman's a side film. Let's just, because we don't know. I don't know where they're going to put it. Is it going to be before, after?
Yeah, because the dates are moving around right now, I think.
Put Batman to the side. Next is Justice League. What do you want to see?
I think in Justice League, to start off, I think Darkseid either... I think there's two ways they go with this. They could do total domination takeover type of thing, where he's there right from the beginning, then they have to come back from that. Or they can do the subtle way where he's coming, sends one of his lynchmen, and they're at the point where the Justice League is fighting them. But, I mean, after, of course, they're all rounded up. They're fighting this linchpin, and it's giving them a hard time, but they might get over one or two of these linchpins. But then when it comes down to it, they are not so sure about fighting the more powerful ones, if not, Darkseid's right-hand guy or Darkseid himself, where then Superman finally gets the strength to come back. I think that cop-out over the dirt, hopefully that doesn't ruin where now, it's already made it cheap. Either bring him back right at the beginning or give us some tension that this Justice League has to fight through things without the help of Superman to show us that they're worth it as well. Because, I mean, if everything's always dependent on Superman, I mean, what's the worth of the other guys anyway? I want to see them, make a name for themselves. And then Batman, I just want to see more warehouse scenes from Ben Affleck, and I want to see him do more dips with 3 plates hanging.
Okay, bad guy. Who do you want to be the bad guy?
I would love to see something like Riddler, and then going into Joker. I would like to see if Robin. I mean, well, it depends on the Suicide Squad, of course. We don't know much on there, but I want to see if Robin is Joker, Jason Todd, or Dick Grayson, or somebody. Something happened. Find out more about that storyline and seeing why Robin's not there. I want to see more of that because that totally interests me, and I just want to see more hand-to-hand kick-ass, Okay. Lynn?
All right. For Justice League, I really don't want Darkseid to be in the first Justice League picture. I want them to build it, sort of like what Marvel is doing with Thanos. Because I think it's whetting my appetite, and like Sean says, I want one of the smaller guys to come in first and give a hurting. Because most of the people on Apocalypse are able to beat down Justice League alone. So one of his right-hand men should be able to give, the Justice League enough of a hurting. There's this one guy, I forgot his name. He's a very shaggy-looking character. I can't think of his name's on the tip of my tongue. But I think he's if I'm not mistaken, the son of Darkseid. And he's able to, next to Lobo and Superman, he can pretty much take on the entire Justice League and have a field day.
Do you think since they are doing a Lobo film, do you think he could be
the big bad first?
Yeah.
Well, considering that when they made Lobo as a character, he was a member of the Legion of Superheroes, which were the more outer space type, like the Guardians of the Galaxies. That's where Lobo resides. So if they try to invest time and work on the Legion of Superheroes, then I could see that happening, because it would give purpose for him coming to Earth. But I would leave that separate on his own and try to build that alone. But what I mean is, like, Justice League, obviously I want them all together. I don't want Superman to be anywhere in the first third of the film until the Justice League are in real trouble, and then out of nowhere, surprising everybody in the Justice League, the fact that he's alive. And then he's got to explain where he's been, and then they rally together around his return to take on the armies that come and whatever, they decide to go with, whoever the big bad is. As for Batman, like Sean, I want to see Robin, but I want to see Damian, his son,
Damian Wayne.
because
since he's older.
Since we have an older, rough Superman, Batman, Talia's already been introduced. He's already had his way with her. So obviously, introducing Damian, it would make sense if they bring in. I'd like to see the villain be Ra's al Ghul done right, with the Lazarus Pit and why he never ages and what have you, which is something that they always teased in the Nolan ones, but they got wrong with Ra's al Ghul. So I'd love to see him done right. That way you could introduce Damian, the fact that he was trained as an assassin, and now Bruce is taking him under his wing and try to teach him not to kill criminals, and what the main reason why Damian always feels like he should be Robin. Since they are possibly working on a Titans film, hopefully, however it works, they don't need Robin to be in the Titans because they can already use Dick for Nightwing.
Yeah.
So,
Damian
you know, I'd like to see Damian get introduced, and even if you use Roz as a background, as the head mind game, and have like a peon like the Riddler or Two-Face, you know, doing all the heavy grunt work with their group. That's what I'd like to see. But I'd like to see Damian involved and just bring Robin and see what that happens. So that's pretty much it as far as what I want out of those two pictures.
Brenden.
What I would like to see in the Justice League film, I'm kind of on Lynn's side a little bit with with Darkseid, but I don't want it like they're doing in Marvel where he's over everything and they barely talk about him, and I know it's because they're going, phase 3, and now they're going to get into the mystical aspect. They're kind of going away from the metahuman, grounded in reality. They're doing, Doctor Strange.
Well, I think the reason why they're extending so long, why they're taking so long to get to the Infinity Quest, is because they're trying to give reason and purpose for each stone. So far, we have 4 stones. We still need the 5th one. So, and of course, because like you said, they're getting more into the mysticism and other stuff, because each stone represents a different part of the universe. So
yeah,
I don't want them to take 20 films to get the Darkseid.
That's what I'm saying. With their slate,
I don't think he should be in the first film.
If Darkseid is not in at least part 2, don't fucking talk about him.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have shown it. You shouldn't have shown it in Batman vs Superman if you're not going to mention it in Justice League. What I would like to see in part 1 is various villains from Wonder Woman or Flash or Aquaman. Like they're like, Aquaman's like, shit, guys, I need help. You need to come help me fight this guy, and then show kind of that they have to learn how to work together. Because I don't want to see 20 years or 10 years from now where they're, hey, I can backflip you without a thought, and you already know what I'm going to do. They're new. I want to see new takes on the villains and have to have them come together to fight those villains. It doesn't have to be one from each. It could be one from Batman and one from the Flash. Okay, that's fine. But I want to see their bad guys. I don't want to see fucking an hour and a half of Flash's origin. I don't want to see fucking half hour of Aquaman. I don't want to fucking see that. They exist. We know they exist. Give us the League. Let them fight those guys. I don't, and have him like over it. Have Darkseid, maybe even Darkseid was like, I'm gonna take him, and then boom, you deal with that bitch. If whatever. I don't want it. Darkseid needs to be in part 2. If you're gonna talk about it, but I agree with the point. I don't want to see fucking Superman pop out, and then he's like, "Hey, I'll help you gather everybody. I'm so fast, I can fly everywhere."
Yeah, multiple months.
And I don't want Lex Luthor going, by the way, I had another secret file that tells you exactly where they're at, and it tells you exactly where their bad guys are at, and I'm gonna make them kill each other. What I would like to see in Batman, I would like them to explain what the fuck happened to Robin. That specific, I don't care who your Robin is. I want to know what happens. Unless they talk about it in Suicide Squad. The bad guy I would like to see is Hush. I would love to see Hush be the villain.
I've heard a lot of people say they want Hush.
Hush would be a little hard to do in just because how he's introduced into the Batman mythos is so wide-spanning. He had 13 issues to introduce him as a character. So to just throw him into a 90-minute film
or
would be hard.
Or do him like you're doing Darkseid. Put him over it. He's in the back of Batman's mind. He knows what's going on. Or I would like to see what you said. I would like to see a good, not saying Jim Carrey's was bad, it fit for that type of Batman movie.
Yeah.
I would like to see a realistic Riddler, even though, in my personal opinion, he's one of the worst Batman villains out of all of them.
I think what
You're nuts.
Yeah, it does bring recognition though.
But the thing is, because Riddler's always been my favorite villain of all time.
That's why I said I'm fucking with you.
No, it's because strategically, intellectually, he's on par with Batman. And he's just, his whole premise is like, I can beat Batman mentally. I don't need to beat him physically. Yeah. That's something he's always wanted to do. The guy who plays the Riddler in the Gotham TV show, who plays Edward Nygma, he is phenomenal, and he captures the essence of what Edward Nygma should be.
Damn, I gotta watch Gotham.
And how could you not be watching Gotham?
I don't like Freeze, though.
No, well, it's understandable.
Gotham, I don't like him.
But at least they made him true. He's a victim of his own surroundings, of his science. And that's something Freeze has always been. But I think Riddler done right, and like I said, if you bring Ra's and Damian could find out what happened to the previous Robin. So Bruce would have to, and Damian's one that because how they write Damian in the books, he's no nonsense. He'll call Bruce a spade, and he'll be like, no, I need to know. If I need to be by your side, you need to tell me what happened prior. And that would make more sense.
What I would like to see, I would like to see a well-known villain, and then maybe like a side, not well-known, but not portrayed in the movies, because they do Two-Face, Riddler, Bane.
I would love that to
take off the cuff guy like Man Bat.
No, not even Man Bat. I was gonna say they could do Clayface. Clayface would be awesome if they can pull him off. I mean, with the CG technology that's nowadays, you mean to tell me you cannot do Clayface?
Because not only that, you'd be able to have more than one or two villains if you're doing Clayface. Because he could be fucked with Batman. And be like,
he could be saying
now, bitch, or now I'm
or
hushed.
He could turn into Joker, and you can tease you could surprise the audience and make them think that it's Joker throughout the whole thing, and out of nowhere it's Clayface.
Like they did in the game,
Yeah, that'd be freaking awesome. I'd like to see that.
I don't want Joker as the main villain. I don't need to see it.
At least not Jared Leto. That's for sure. No, if they do a cameo or mention him, okay. But I don't need another Dark Knight. Oh, speaking of which, did you guys see the rewrites that they're doing for Suicide Squad? Did you read about that shit? Yeah, they can get more humorous.
Tens of millions of dollars going into it.
Yep, making it more comedic.
Add more levity. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining me for this time. I appreciate you all. Brenden, let's say a little goodbye to everybody watching us today.
Little goodbye.
Lynn, how about yourself? Brenden, tell them where they can catch you, buddy.
On here.
All right.
Exactly.
You heard it first from Brenden. Lynn, where can people follow you and catch you and see what you're up to?
Poor Brendan's so out of the loop. He doesn't even mention his Twitter, for crying out loud.
I barely go on it anymore.
Overseer 69, that's Brenden.
Yeah, Overseer 69, and even though he doesn't want to admit it, he does have a YouTube page. I did find it. We're
going to soon get him making controllers to put on the YouTube page. It's been a topic of conversation.
Yep, Christmas is around the way. I can tell you what my favorite characters are. You can make me a nice controller skin.
I'll make you a neutered Doomsday controller.
Wait, did you just say that Christmas is around the corner? It's freaking March.
Hey, in consumerism,
Christmas is
it's
always
right around the corner.
It's always around the corner, man.
Lynn, give us...
As always, you can catch me here on AKA Geeks on everything pertaining to our podcast, our YouTube, and our Facebook and Twitter page. And then on Xbox Live, you can find me under Ash Darkthorn. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right, guys, you can catch me on Xbox One, Swish 187, PS4, Swisher Twitter, Caliman Swish. And we appreciate you guys. Let us know in the comment section If you guys disagree with us or agree with us on anything that we mentioned today, and let's get a really good conversation about this. For all the guys here at AKA Geeks, we appreciate your time, and we'll catch you later. Peace.
AKA Geeks.